I've been coming up here for a long time. I think the first time I came up was just shy of 20 years ago. I had just I just graduated high school, I guess. I was about 18. And talking to one of my good friends and mentors, a gentleman by the name of Richard, he told me about when he came up here way back in the day when they actually had like horse tours, more or less. He came up here on horseback. And back, I want to say, that was probably in like the 80s. And I think kind of back in that time frame, people actually drove rock crawlers up here too. So the inside of the Hilton, the entire ceiling was covered with t-shirts and stuff from all these different rock crawler events and everything. But first time I came up here 20 years ago, there's no cell phones, no internet to speak of. I mean, this would have been, I guess, early in 97, spring of 97 maybe. And I basically went off someone telling me like, hey, there's this cool spot, it's called Panamint City. You go to Ballarat and then figure out your way from there. And I ended up stopping in a little tiny general store in Ballarat and talked to these couple old timers there. And they're like, yeah, go up here, make sure you check out the petroglyphs. They're kind of over off to the side. And I was like, okay. And came up, I think one of them sent me with an iso mat. I would have froze to death probably otherwise. Like the ground sucks all the heat from you, and I didn't have a sleeping pad at the time. But yeah, I came up here, camped one night, checked out just kind of what was here. And after that, I was just like, this place is amazing. It's like a treasure trove of like just adventures. Like everywhere you turn, you see something new. And since then, I've came up over a dozen times, I'm sure, over the last 20 years. And you guys, how many times have you came up?
2.
2. You hiked up 2. How many times have you been up here, though?
3.
That's right. How old were you when you first came up here?
1.
You were less than 1. You were 3 months old. Your mom carried you up here. But I've been coming up here a bunch, and every time I come up here, I see new things and explore new places. You just look at the mountains around you and be like, oh, no way. You'll see this like cut through the mountain of some sort of little track. And pretty much every track has some sort of mine or something at the end of it because someone went through the work of making a little trail somewhere. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty magical place. Over here where they kind of had the smelting operation, it's pretty amazing. Like one, where'd all this brick come from? Like way back in the day. And then the massiveness of this huge chimney is incredible. And so there are these little guys for reference. Dad just climbed through the middle of this. And this thing just goes up, 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 up.
You can always get in here too.
So winter, especially nights, are cold up here. Trusty hatchet of my son's, Fisker's X7. And there's actually a fair amount of dead trees up here. And so essentially find one, go after it, and start getting some limbs, if not a whole tree, so you can be nice and toasty at night. To what I was speaking of earlier, just looking across the canyon and being able to see these paths that cut through the rock, and you're like, where does that go? Obviously goes to some mine, like otherwise they won't cut that path up there. And it's just one more place to explore up here.